This cabin has been stained with that grisly act. Paranormal activity still occurs in this cabin to this day.
I've heard about this almost my whole life.
Many people have said that they've come in contact with something unexplainable.
I've got a secret plan for tonight, a little secret trigger object.
It's eerie, it's dark, it's secluded.
If anyone's in there, sound off.
A block of firewood had been used. She was hit with it repeatedly.
Is there a dark energy in this cabin?
Whoa, the candle just turned back on. Whoa! Nobody was standing in front of that music box just now.
Really?
No. What the hell?
What?
I literally am not even sweeping and I just heard someone come through and talk.
Really? What happened that night in here?
Get out, man's voice.
Fayette County Sheriff's Office.
What did he do to you in this room?
Wife murder.
The stories of this cabin are infamous. The shadow figures, the intimidating energies, the screams.
The crime was so personal and so horrendous that it just leaves that imprint. All right, everybody, we are back at one of our favorite places that we have ever investigated. I'm sure you can recognize it behind me here. We are back at Cabin 13 at Babcock State Park.
This place is so creepy. This is a cabin with such a dark history. This place was the site of a murder. A homicide took place inside this cabin. Many people have believed since then, since that day, that this cabin has been stained with that grisly act that took place inside of here, and that paranormal activity still occurs in this cabin to this day. People come here from all over the country, and when they stay inside this cabin, many people have said that they've come in contact with something unexplainable.
Yeah, I mean, this place is becoming world known for the haunting here. We couldn't even get into the park and get checked in to the cabin, and there were people talking to us about it in the lobby up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, everyone, it seems like now, has heard of the dark history of Cabin 13. And it's fitting that it is number 13. Cabin number 13 is where this awful event took place. It sits out in this remote state park at the far end of the road. This is the last cabin on the road, so no one comes out here except for one purpose, and that is for this cabin. So it's eerie, it's dark, it's secluded, and I'm excited to see how creepy this is gonna be tonight.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna get real creepy. And I think before we get started tonight, we need you guys to hit the like button on this video. Let's see if we can get it up to 2,000 thumbs up.
That's right, and before we get started, I think we need to introduce who's here with us tonight.
Oh yeah.
Jason.
Oh,
How's
snap.
it going?
What's up, man?
Hey, glad to be here, guys. Glad to see y'all and looking forward to this cabin. I've heard about this almost my whole life. You know, a lot of the locals talk about this place, and like you just said, I mean, it's nowadays becoming world renowned. I mean, it's infamous.
Yeah, I haven't told you guys this yet, but I've got a secret plan for tonight, a little secret trigger object that we're gonna be using.
So do you want to tell us now, or do you want to wait until we get inside before you spill the beans?
Well, of course I'm gonna make everybody wait until it gets dark and creepy, so.
Shoot, let's go inside and look at this cabin and talk a little bit about what happened inside here.
Let's do it. You ready, Jason?
Hell yeah, let's check this out.
What's your emergency?
I received a disturbance complaint from Babcock State Park. Individual stating he had been attacked by 10 to 12 people in a cabin, him and his wife. At the time I arrived at the scene, he was sitting on the porch at a paid telephone at the main headquarters there at the parking lot when I arrived. When I pulled up, he was in white underwear, had a cut on the right side of the underwear. He was, it was raining, he was wet, When I pulled up, he started screaming, "Don't hit me, don't touch me." I told him who I was. I wasn't there to hurt him, I was there to help him. He told me 10 or 12 guys came in the cabin and attacked him and his wife. I asked him where his wife was at. He said, "I think she's still at the cabin." When I arrived here, I told him to stay out in the car, and I came down to check the scene. Well, as I approached the cabin, I looked for anything out of place, disorder or anything. I went to the back door, which would pass on the walkway. I went to knock on it. I opened up the screen door. There's a bag of garbage that fell out of the door. So I know no one had been in or out of that door. I then listened. There was no sounds or anything. I came around to the front door. The door was open, the screen door was shut. I announced myself through the screen door, asked for anybody responding. There's no noise, nothing coming out of the cabin. I shined the flashlight through to see if there was any tracks or anything on the floor. The only prints I seen on the floor was bare footprints. I then entered the cabin. I seen a spot of blood where the pillow would have been. I shined the light around the room, didn't see nothing else. Walked through the room into the kitchen area, checked it, see if anyone was there. No one was there. As I came back, set of steps to the right side of the room, led up to a loft. I went up in the loft. There was another bed there with a pillow missing off of it. I looked around the floor for the pillow. I shined the light over top of the rail down into the main room, and that's when I observed her on the floor between the bed and the wall. It was determined at that point that a block of firewood had been used, and she was hit with it repeatedly.
All right, let's head inside, see what's changed.
Let's do it. And as we're going in here, guys, make sure you leave us a comment down below and make sure you tell us if you want to see more of these true crime hauntings on this YouTube channel.
All right. Got it?
Yes.
All right. As you guys can see, when we come in here, they've completely rearranged everything in here. We're not really sure why, but
it's interesting that, so they put the bed underneath of the loft. And I find that really weird because one of the main ghost stories that we had heard before we ever came here the first time, the bed was actually over here, and people used to mention that when they would wake up in the middle of the night, they had the perfect view up to the loft. And they would see a dark shadow standing up in the loft looking at them. This really intimidating and creepy shadow figure was watching them while they were asleep. Is that why they moved the bed underneath here? To keep people from having that experience and telling that story?
I don't know. It's definitely a possibility.
It is.
Or maybe they just wanted to change up the room. Who knows? But that's always a possibility.
And this is where it gets interesting, because I've been thinking about this in relation. Did you hear that?
What was that?
I don't know. I heard that.
Hello? Hello?
That was strange.
That was. I can hear the clock ticking in here, but that sounded like a knock on that door.
Mm-hmm. There was something.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't the clock.
No, that'd be a loud clock.
Mm-hmm.
That was strange timing.
It was. But I've been thinking about this in relation to that shadow figure that they saw up top. So, when Sergeant Bryant came in, he didn't see anyone. He went up to the loft and looked over from the loft down at the bed, and that's when he could finally see Cheryl's body between the bed and the wall over, because the bed at the time was facing the same way that it's facing now, but it was up against this wall, up against this far wall over here. So when he made it to the loft, that is when he finally could see that she was between the bed and the wall. Now think about this. Residual activity, residual paranormal energy trapped inside this cabin from that horrific event. What if, because Mike is still alive, Mike is still locked up in prison after he was convicted of this crime. So his spirit should not be here. But what if what people are seeing is the apparition, the moment in time, that energy of Sergeant Bryant actually seeing from the loft Cheryl's remains up against the wall?
That could be. It's very possible.
Yeah, almost like a static impression or something.
Right. From that moment that he discovered her, because that moment when you first see the person that you were told very well could be deceased inside this cabin, and you actually see them from up above when he saw her from this loft, that right there could have triggered an emotional response. Just in that moment, just split second that could be trapped inside this cabin, and that's why people see the shadow, perhaps.
It's hard to tell. Another possibility is, what if that dark energy overcame Mike and made him do what he did that night? I mean, there's several different scenarios of the energies and stuff that are in this cabin, and I just randomly got cold chills there, but I'm hoping that some things we get tonight are as equally strange as what we got last time, because there are still things that happened last time that we can't explain to this day.
Okay,
How do you explain that?
I can't. That's one of the strangest things I've ever had happen. Is it true that you're here? Or is it true that he hurt you in here? What did he do to you?
Hurt me. Woman's voice.
But yeah, I never thought of that though, like just that amount of energy and emotion of when he found or saw her over there could have been etched in time or whatever from right here. It's hard to tell.
And it's important to point out that the reason that they discovered, because at first they didn't know what really happened inside this cabin. The only thing they knew when he found her was that she had been beaten with a piece of firewood, and that was her cause of death. They didn't know who did it for the longest time, and it took until there was finally a break in the case when they discovered that her husband, Mike, had taken out a life insurance policy on her 2 weeks before. Then they started to look more into Mike, and they found out that he may not have been faithful to his wife, Cheryl. That there was another person that he was involved with who he would take trips with, daytime trips here to Babcock State Park, and he would stay here with that particular person. And they assumed the motive was that he was trying to get his wife out of the picture.
Yeah.
And cash in on that life insurance policy and start a life with this other person.
But yeah, things were a little bit different back then. Things weren't as widely as accepted then as they are now. And it is rumored that he had a relationship with another man and was trying to hide that from his wife, which supposedly led to his reasoning of taking her life, like you said, to get her out of the picture.
When the bizarre baptism trip was discovered, there was another revelation that brought more clarity to the case. And that was the mystery car swap. You see, the Flippos had a green Cadillac, a car that Mike described in detail to Deputy Bryant.
He described the Cadillac down to a T. When I asked him how he got here, he described the green Cadillac, exactly what it looked like, everything else. But when I got here, the red car was sitting there. It had a T-shirt hanging off of the side view mirror on it. At first, I thought somebody had left the red car and stolen the Cadillac. Somebody had switched cars with them. We later found out that was not true.
It wasn't true at all. In fact, that red car was a red Camaro. And if you've read the paragraph we've already shown you closely, you probably already noticed. The man who Mike baptized and took inappropriate photos of drove a red Camaro. Mike told the deputy he had no idea who the red Camaro belonged to. With so many inconsistencies in his story, it didn't take long before it all fell apart.
I determined there wasn't no other people in the area at that time. Had there been, I couldn't really determine, but the evidence didn't lead that direction. I left room here, secured it, made sure no one else came in. He was coming back down the sidewalk when I went back outside. I escorted him back up to my vehicle. At that time, I called for backup, helped secure the scene, and called for an ambulance.
Cheryl, of course, is the one who actually passed away in this cabin, and one of the ghost stories is that people have heard her tortured screams coming from this cabin, even when they're not staying in it. People staying in cabin 12 have heard these loud screaming sounds coming from this cabin when they know no one is staying here.
Yeah.
Because people used to be afraid to stay here, so it was empty quite a bit. But they would hear these loud screams coming through the trees from cabin 13. And Mike is still alive. Mike is still incarcerated.
So for tonight, I brought something with me. The last time that we were here, before we came here, I had submitted to make contact with Mike in prison. And there was no communication back from him before we came here. And when we got back, I had a letter in the mail from Mr. Flippo himself. So I think tonight, either during abandonment or during one of the sessions, I'm going to bring that letter out and set it up and maybe read it aloud and see what Cheryl thinks of that. And because he made some bold claims in that letter that just don't add up.
Yeah, if you think about that, what kind of energy that could stir up. A letter from the man that was convicted being read in the place where that crime took place, and what energy that could stir up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, Cheryl, if you're here, Mike sent me a letter, and I want to read it to you later and get your input on it. Last time we were here, it was me and Ryan, and you came out and made some communication with us, and I hope you'll do that again tonight.
Now, probably there was a couple things that happened when we were here last time that we just couldn't explain. One of which we'll start with, happened in this kitchen. We were sitting at the table, which when we were here 2-3 years ago was where the bed is now. And we heard what sounded like this loud metallic pop. That wasn't. And we walk in here, we search, we check the door, we can't figure out where it came from. And then we see this electrical panel box was open.
Yeah.
This panel box had somehow popped open by itself.
I wonder if that's the faucet in there.
Could be.
I wonder if that's the faucet in there.
Could be. We weren't able to actually figure out whether that was paranormal or how that happened, because it was kind of a hair trigger, but it didn't happen the rest of the night, and it didn't happen the rest of the time we were staying here, because we were staying here for 2 days.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean,
it doesn't just pop open by itself.
No. So that was really weird. Can't explain that one. I don't know.
Now, why a ghost would want to open the electrical box, I have no idea, but...
There's a lot of juice to get from there if the theory stands up.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
If they're going to pull energy, that would be the place to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The odd thing about it is, the bed was here, and you were standing here, and we were just talking, and you happened to reach your hand out like this to grab something or pick something up, and a huge drop of water just landed right on your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it okay if I Huh!
What?
Look at this. What is that?
I don't see anything.
Something wet. Look at that.
Ew, what the hell?
I don't know.
Where'd it come from?
I don't know. I put my hand over the bed. And it was there.
Hold on, let me see.
Fight.
And you were like, okay, that's where we went up with the flashlight to the loft looking to see if there was a spot where there was condensation. And there was no wet spots on the ceiling at all. No. But if there was a water leak in the ceiling, it would have been dripping directly onto the bed for multiple minutes, or there would have been more drops that had landed on the bed. And the thing was, the comforter on the bed was dry.
Yeah. Even the next morning when we woke up, it was dry.
Yeah, there was no water leaking in through that ceiling.
I literally just went like this.
I definitely documented that on camera. There's
Yeah.
moisture on you.
Yeah, it's about to drip off.
And is it raining outside?
I don't think so.
Doesn't sound like it. So what do you guys think? I mean, there's definitely a lot of history with this cabin. There's a lot of dark energy that could be trapped in here, and there's a huge potential that we could capture something really interesting tonight. So, are you guys ready to get started?
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's get to it.
All right, so we are getting ready to set up for abandonment here, and we are getting ready to leave this cabin completely empty. And as we were setting up the equipment, we were just setting up the tripwire, and Jason found something really creepy over in the exact same place where Cheryl was found. So we haven't told Dave what it is yet, but we're gonna have to show him now.
Is it a spider?
No.
Yeah, this is just it's creepy and ironic. At first, I thought it was a zip tie,
Okay.
and that's a baby black snake.
Ew.
I mean, you can see because it's not. I checked him. He's expired. But see, look where he just shed.
Oh, yeah.
The little guy's dead though. I don't know.
Why would he just die there?
I don't know, and his head's kind of perched up too. But
Yeah, so it's like, that is very strange. We just find, I mean, nature happens, but it's just very strange that none of us noticed that until right now, that there is it looks like a tiny baby snake. And it's definitely deceased. There's the skin that came off of it. But just hanging out here in the corner. So, is that a bad omen?
I mean, it's very weird, and yes, I know nature happens, but, like, also that's where a very violent crime took place. And kind of a weird thing.
I mean, if you're superstitious, that could be a bad sign.
Could be.
Let's go ahead and get this stuff set up here. Let's get started with abandonment. It's time to leave this place completely empty. We're going to leave cameras alone inside West Virginia's most haunted murder cabin. All right, so we're getting ready to leave this house, this cabin, completely empty. We have all the equipment set up, 3 cameras rolling, and we were just joking before we left. This place is kind of set up like a damn music box in and of itself. It's such a small space, and we have so much equipment that we can't even move in here without setting something off. So if there's the possibility that something will get set off, I think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If there's a possibility of any paranormal activity in here, something is gonna set our equipment off because it is that loaded with equipment. So we'll see what happens while we're gone here. But we have a camera up in the loft pointing down. Remember, that was Officer Bryant's perspective when he first saw and discovered Cheryl back over here against the wall, where we actually have a REM pod tripwire. We have the EMF candle. And remember that letter that Dave actually has written by Mike himself, the man convicted of his wife's death. He's gonna put that letter right here with that millimeter, right?
I sure am. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. And, Cheryl, if you're here, I did reach out to Mike and asked him about how he felt about the situation here, and he did respond to me. And I'm going to leave this out here. I don't know if you're able to come and read this or how it works for you, but I'm going to leave it here, and if you want to come over and read it, you're more than welcome. And if you come over and read this thing's probably going to make a noise, but that's okay. We put that there specifically for that reason, so we know if you do come and read it. So, I'm going to put this here. That's me. And, if you want to come and read that, Cheryl, you're more than welcome.
Wait for it to reset. And there we go.
And I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here, right?
Yep. And don't forget, we have a camera in the kitchen as well. right over here pointed in there because that's where we had that electric panel box pop open. And if that happens again, we want to capture it. So we have that rolling in there on that area. So
Absolutely.
you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's get out of here.
I am gonna grab. That's me.
That's also you. That's you. That's you.
That's all me.
It's all Dave.
Gonna grab the key, make sure to lock up behind ourselves.
All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here.
Let's do it.
Let's let the darkness take over.
We're leaving.
We're leaving. I kind of feel disrespectful screaming in here.
I know, that's why I was going to say, I just wanted to say it for the cameras.
All right, Cheryl, we're leaving. You know how we did this last time? We set all this stuff up so you would come out and try to interact with us. Show us that you're still here. And we want to talk to you about what happened that night with Mike later when we get back. Make sure that you go over and read that letter. Okay.
We're locked. Let's head to the car. There you go. Can you hold that for a second? All right. We're in. We're gonna go to the store, grab a couple things. We're gonna come back and see what Cabin 13 has to offer, I guess, when we get home and review this. Because again, all these camera angles, we won't review this until we get home. So we don't know what's going on in there right now. When we get back, maybe we'll park up out here and do our little experiment. What do you think?
Yeah,
See what we can have happen.
let's do it. If you want to come over and read it, you're more than welcome. And if you come over and read this thing's probably going to make a noise, but that's okay.
So we made it back from the store. We're sitting out here. The cameras have been rolling for about 45 minutes.
They have been. Yep.
So who knows what they're capturing in there? Who knows what they're catching? But we just wanted to try and see if we could do a quick ghost tube session out here since we haven't been using ghost tube inside the locations. We had some creepy stuff happen on past investigations, some really relevant stuff coming through sitting in the car outside while the cameras are still rolling inside.
Yes.
So, turn this up. Can you tell us what happened at the cabin behind us and over the hill? Where we're going to be staying and investigating tonight. Had something terrible happen.
I left something on the dresser.
Who is he?
I left something on the dresser down there. What was that?
Move it.
Move what? Move what Dave put there?
Me.
You moved it? Wouldn't you if we walked in there and the letter was moved?
That would be crazy. Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing though. Yeah, you can, if you want to move what I put down there, you can.
What is that?
It's that guy walking by.
I'm damn scared the out of me.
Is he coming over here?
No.
Oh.
Hag.
Hag?
All I heard was footsteps, and I was like, what is about to
That
happen?
was freaky a little bit.
Yeah, there was when we were driving back into the road, there was a guy that actually scared the out of us. He walked in front of the car, and he works for the park. He was wearing the park uniform. But it's creepy at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30-ish, 9:15-ish, whenever whenever we drove through there to just see someone just walk across the tiny little one lane road.
Yeah, it was a little unsettling.
We're gonna go back in. You haven't said anything that makes us think that you're listening to us.
Well, let's head back down to the cabin.
Oh,
I bet that guy sees some creepy stuff out here sometimes.
Probably.
I'm still rolling on audio, by the way.
yes.
Okay.
I am too. I'm gonna roll.
In the corner.
Okay, that's weird.
What?
It just said in the corner,
It said in the corner.
which is where she was found.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the bed and the wall back there in that corner.
Yeah.
That's weird.
How's it going? All right. I bet you see some weird stuff out here, don't you? Do what?
Usually not.
Usually not.
Nah, it's pretty quiet around here.
Yeah.
Occasional snake or bear or something, that's about it.
Nothing
Nah.
weird like with that or anything down there.
Nope.
We didn't realize you were standing over there when you walked across the road when we pulled in and you walked across. Because we were just driving and all of a sudden you walked across the road. We're like, holy shit. That was funny. Hey, have a good night.
You never know around here.
That's right. Have a good night. Thank you. All right, down we go.
House.
We're back.
Never.
Well, it's not moved.
It's not moved. Let me know when you guys are recording.
Okay.
I'm gonna go upstairs and turn this camera on.
Okay, good idea. I forgot about that.
Okay. That sounds like a plan.
He knows.
Oh.
What the hell?
What?
I literally am not even sweeping. It's on a dead frequency, and I just heard someone come through and talk.
Really?
Yeah, it was like... It almost sounded like a woman's voice. Hold on, we're gonna have to replay that and see if you guys can hear it. Let us know in the comments. I heard it. I only have it on my left ear, but I heard a voice just there.
Oh.
What the hell?
What?
I literally am not even sweeping. It's on a dead frequency, and I just heard someone come through and talk. That was creepy.
Okay, we're rolling up here.
Beautiful.
That was me. All right, Jason, are you good?
I'm good.
All right, let's go.
Let's do it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this on. We're going to do an Estes session here inside cabin 13. I'm sitting literally feet away from where they found Cheryl that night when they came into this cabin after Mike went up to the office and told the police that there was a group of men that came in here and had assaulted them. Came down, there was only evidence of Mike and Cheryl being in here. There was no evidence that any other person was in this cabin, and they found Cheryl right here on the ground in front of me. So last time we did an Estes, we had some really creepy voices and really creepy responses come through here. So we're going to do it again and see if we get just as creepy of a session as we did last time.
And Ryan?
Blindfold going on. Sweeping.
All right, guys, so Ryan's down there starting the Estes. I'm up here in the loft, and Jason is over in the kitchen. And here in a minute, I'm going to be reading something special while Ryan's doing the Estes to see if something happens.
Came over or something like that?
Cheryl, are you here? Cheryl, if you're here, you remember we did this last time and we talked to you over the radio. You remember that? We have all these different devices set up in here for you to touch if you want to let us know you're here. Or if you want to come through the radio, like I said, you can come through that way and talk to us. Cheryl, what happened that night in here? What did he do to you in this room? We brought one of our friends with us tonight. His name's Jason. Cheryl, do you remember that night that he brought you here?
Something again, but it was like a full sentence. I couldn't quite make it out. Man's voice.
The last time that we were here, it seemed like you had a lot to say. Are you still here?
Came up here?
Tripwire. Cheryl, was that you that just made that light up?
Cheryl, we're very sorry for what happened to you in this cabin. I understand it may be difficult, but would you mind telling us what you remember?
It's not, or did not.
Cheryl, if you remember Ryan and I being here, talking to you before, can you touch one of these devices that we have set up? With the bright lights on them? You know, it probably feels intimidating having 3 men in here trying to talk to you if you're here. Especially considering what happened, but we'd love for you to come through and talk. Tripwire just went off again. Cheryl, if you can hear me, there's a candle down there on the table. If you get close to it, that candle will go off. Could you do that for me?
Something about a head. I couldn't make it out. Something head.
Cheryl, could you please tell us what you mean?
And then a woman's voice said love. I thought I just heard a child's voice say dad.
That's strange. Cheryl, you know Mike is still in prison. He claims that he never did anything to you. Is that true?
They're right? Woman's voice said they're right?
If you can hear me and Mike did do this to you, can you come through the radio and tell us?
That was weird. Another woman's voice just came through. It sounded like she was like crying.
Oh, wow. Well, you don't have to cry. We're not here to make you cry. You know, I received a letter from Mike from prison. I'd like to read that out so you could hear what he had to say. Because I feel you at least deserve that.
Oh no.
If you'd rather me not read it, can you come through the radio and tell Ryan that you don't want me to read it?
Stop.
All right, Cheryl, I'm going to go ahead and read this letter. But anytime you want me to stop reading it, either light up one of these devices we have set up, or come through the radio and tell Ryan that you want me to stop. Oh, okay.
I'm not really hearing anything right now that's too clear, so I think I'm going to try the tactic I did last time and see if I can sit down here on the floor.
What is that? Hold on, wait. So, I was getting ready to read the letter.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if you don't want me to read the letter, make one of the devices go off. And the candle went off.
Oh, shoot. Do it. Woman's voice. You want me to keep going?
You can do what you were doing.
Let me see here. There we go. Now.
All right, Cheryl. Can we try this one more time? I have a letter here from Mike, and I'd like to read it aloud because I feel like you're owed that. If you would rather me not read the letter, if you don't want to hear the letter, please come through the radio and tell Ryan. Or if you can, make one of these devices light up or alarm just by getting close to them.
What was that?
God, there's a moth up here.
Startled the out of me.
Sorry.
Damn.
Ooh. I died, or he died, or something died.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna get...
If you want to.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I'm going to read this out for you. It says, "Great to hear from you today. 5/12/2022.
Hi, woman's voice.
It is Thursday evening. I just couldn't wait to write you back. Thank you for writing me. Your letter was intriguing. Your questions about Cabin 13 in Babcock State Park brought back some tragic and horrible memories. No one has mentioned to me Cabin 13 in years.
Back under.
Cheryl, anytime I'm reading this, you want me to stop. If you could touch one of the bright red lights. There's one on the bed and there's one in the kitchen. Randomly, an officer was telling me that they were at the park fishing, but that was about it. After all this time, I can talk about it, but it will never be comfortable. It was absolutely the worst night of my life. I lost the love of my life and the mother of my 3 sons, as well as my life. I cannot begin to explain the devastation to such sudden loss. There was no warning of the tragedy. If there is a storm approaching, the Weather Channel warns you. The siren warns of a tornado approaching, but there was no warning of the life-changing and horror that came to me that night. I have no reservations or problems in communicating with you about my experiences in life. All I ask is that you please don't judge me by my actions of the court. I claimed my innocence throughout the trial and since. We don't to argue that. I appreciate your frankness and your kindness towards me. As you can see, I am all over the page on this. I will be able to focus in future letters. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and stop there. It was signed by Michael Flippo. Cheryl, Michael is claiming his innocence and that he never did anything.
No. Woman's voice. First voice I've heard for a long time.
Did he do this to you? He told the investigator that 5 people burst into the cabin and attacked the 2 of you. Is that true?
It's weird, I'm getting this strange sensation around my neck, like around my throat. And then a man's voice just came through. I want to or I don't want to. I was talking when it came through.
Cheryl or whoever is here with us. Aside from my friends Ryan, Dave,
Get out, man's voice.
And myself, how many people are here in the cabin? We're not going to get out. Cheryl or whoever is here with us. Aside from my friends Ryan, Dave,
Get out, man's voice.
And myself, how many people are here in the cabin?
Loser.
We're here to talk with Cheryl. Or anyone who knows what happened in this cabin.
Was there a dark energy in this cabin that made Michael do what he did?
Can you tell Ryan as loud as you can what you see?
It's weird, like, the voices have pretty much stopped. It's been, like, very sporadic and intermittent. Has anything happened out here?
The tripwire went off a couple times and the candle went off. That's all I've witnessed.
Yeah, it's been pretty inactive over in this side of the cabin.
Yeah, it definitely didn't seem to be as chatty as the last time, which is interesting because, you know, if what we were experiencing last time was entirely radio interference, there'd be the same amount of chatter, you know what I mean? And there was not nearly as many voices this time.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Watch out for the snake.
Right.
If you're scared, I'll do it.
You lay next to it?
No. How does that feel? Is that surreal?
Definitely feels a little weird. Of course, part of it's just, you know, knowing what happened, but...
Yeah.
Okay. Whoops. The recorder's doing stuff in my back pocket. Okay.
All right, guys, we've kind of switched it up now. Jason's going to do an EVP session over here.
And I'm going to set the recorder on the table above you, Jason, so you can...
Okay.
Rolling EVP session, cabin 13, Jason on the floor, placing recorder on the table. Stepping away.
If there's anybody here with us, can you please give us a sign? Can you speak to us? Can you make a noise?
That was me moving the camera. Cheryl, are you here with us tonight?
Cheryl, is it infuriating knowing that Mike is claiming innocence?
What was that?
What was it? I don't know.
Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
It was like laughing or something. Like a breathy laugh. What was that?
Cheryl, if Michael, in fact, did that to you and took your life in here, do you forgive him? It was over 27 years ago.
Who is the dark shadow that people see standing in the loft when they're asleep in here? Ready to listen back?
Yeah.
Already forgot we were doing a burst.
Whoa, the candle just turned back on.
Yeah.
I was pointed right at it.
If there's anybody here with us, can you please give us a sign? Can you speak to us? Can you make a noise? Ready to listen back?
Nothing. Here's an interesting idea that we could try.
What's that?
What if two of us kind of observed from the loft up there,
Mm-hmm.
and one of us could put the GoPro head set on
Yeah.
and take the flashlight and then have static cams in here, and they tried to reenact what would have happened when Sergeant Bryant came into the house, into the cabin,
Yeah, that would be
That'd be interesting.
pretty unique.
just to see if it gets any reaction or rise out of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to try an experiment here, doing a reenactment with Officer McKinney on the scene.
Yeah, basically we have some equipment set up in here. Dave and I are gonna sit and observe with the equipment on in here to see what happens, and Jason is gonna enter. He's gonna have a recording of a police scanner going on him. He has the head cam, and he's gonna have a flashlight, and he's gonna basically ignore that we're in here, and he's gonna sweep the house. Just like Sergeant Bryant, who was first on scene the night of Cheryl's murder, and he's gonna sweep while also pretending like he is the first arriving officer. So he is gonna do a little role playing here, and we're gonna see if that stirs up any activity. Oh, hold on, Jason.
What was that?
The GoPro stopped for some reason. What did it do?
That was weird.
If you hear that beeping again,
Okay.
that means the GoPro stopped, so let me know if that happens.
Okay.
Why'd it stop?
Whoa! Nobody was standing in front of that music box just now.
Really?
No. The GoPro didn't overheat, so I don't know why it just stopped recording.
Okay.
And then the music box went off. That was a tad strange.
Yeah, that was weird timing. Cheryl, if that was you making that music go off, you're more than welcome to. You're the main reason we're here.
So there's Officer McKinney. Go ahead and get into position whenever you're ready, Jason. Actually, to be honest, you might need a brighter flashlight.
Well, I can turn that all the way up to
Yes, perfect.
super.
Yeah, turn it up to super when you use it.
Okay. You want me just to tap on the window when I'm getting ready to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
And once you hear the tap, I'll start like 10 seconds later.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I also have the obelisk set up right here just to see what it says. I really actually am digging the environment here at Cabin 13 because we didn't have the Ovilus last time we were here. And one of the main problems we found with the Ovilus is there's a lot of interference. It gets picked up on electrical, whether it's radio, police scanner, something, makes this thing talk so much it never stops. Well, I turned this thing on, it said the 3 words that it needs to calibrate, and then it hasn't said anything else, and it's been on for like 15 minutes. So that's good. That means that the Ovilus may just work the way we want it to. Jesus Christ, I already forgot that he was going to tap on the window. Scared the shit out of me.
Sheriff's office. Sheriff's office. If anyone's in there, sound off. Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office. I told you to stay up in the car.
That's weird though, that see how where Jason had to stand for this music box to go off?
Was that too fast?
No, I mean,
Okay.
that was good.
Let me turn this off.
Do you remember that night? Some people have reported there's a dark energy in this cabin that people experience. Did that come from that night, that horrific act?
Cheryl, if you're here, can you step in front of that music box again so we can hear it play music? Or maybe touch the purple lights that are on the mantle for us?
Or if you're able to, get close to this box right here and see if you can make it say a word that will tell us that you're here. If you come up to the table right in front of me, there's a candle. If you can see that right beside that, this box might allow you to choose a word. We're not sure if it actually can or not, but...
Cheryl, did you have any suspicions that he was going to do something like this?
How about this? You can touch or make any of these devices, any of these things go off, light up, make sound, anything in the room for yes. In his letter, Michael said that he was innocent of what happened to you, that he did not do it. Is that true? Is it true that Michael did do this to you?
Did 5 people break into the cabin and do that?
Did you just lay down or go to sleep, and that is the last thing you remember?
Whoa. What was that?
I don't know if that was the fridge or something.
If that's the case, Cheryl, can you try one more time? Did you just fall asleep and that's the last thing you remember? I do have to say that, do you remember the last time we were here, Ryan? And the whole time that we were in here, it felt like we could feel that Cheryl was around and listening to what we were saying. I don't feel that this time.
No, it feels very quiet this time. I mean, there was definitely an energy when we first got here tonight, but...
There was, and maybe that's because we know what happened in here.
Maybe. But yeah, I don't get that same feeling. I'm not on edge in the same way like there's someone else in the room that we can't see, one of those feelings, you know?
No.
But there is another possibility that could have happened that we haven't asked about yet. Something that even, you know, wasn't brought up simply because of the statement that Michael made.
Okay.
If you remember what happened, was it someone that Michael told to come here? The tripwire just went off.
I saw that.
Was it someone that Michael told to come here? Someone that he knew that did it for him? Just one other person. He said 5, but it could have just been one other person. If that's the case, can you make anything happen in the room to let us know?
Was Mike acting suspicious that day? Did you find out what was going on between him and another person? Romantically?
So now we have two different types. We not only have the route of diode, we also have the electro-Ushi stereophonic EMF microphone here hanging from the actual balcony here. So we'll see if there's any energy spikes at any particular moment when Jason's coming in. And remember, you can use this box to say anything during this. Anything you want to tell us.
If this sparks any memories for anybody who's in here, light up our equipment while this is happening.
All right, we're ready, Jason.
Sounds good.
And for those that are watching that are wondering, why are you doing this? Why are you reenacting one of the more horrific things that happened here? There's many paranormal researchers and parapsychologists that believe that reenacting any particular event can actually make energies resurface that have been, dormant for years, So there's plenty of paranormal researchers and experts that believe this could be a good way to provoke paranormal activity.
Charles 064954. Thank you. Copy.
Sheriff's Office. If anyone's in there, sound off. Fayette County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office. Sheriff's Office. I told you to stay in the car.
The heck? This camera just died.
The one in the hall?
Yeah. Ew. Oh, there's like a really bad smell over here too. And it's gone now.
Really?
Yeah. That was freaky.
What was it?
So, that camera, when you were finishing up, that camera just died. And I went over, and there was like it smelled like a wet dog right over beside the camera. Like really strong scent of like a wet dog.
That's very random.
Yeah. But everyone knows that smell.
Right.
And now it's gone. But it literally smelled like a wet dog. Let me change this battery out. But that was so strange because I came over here and I was like, there's no way that I should be smelling that I should be smelling a wet dog.
I mean, yeah.
It was the most odd thing because I haven't, like, it's not like it's one of us. I haven't smelled that at all today.
Right.
And none of us have dogs.
No.
So, but yeah, it was like a wet dog. Like, I know I keep repeating that, but I'm just kind of shocked by that because it was just right here in this area around the camera. Right in this doorway of the kitchen.
It could be a stretch, but it makes you wonder if they brought a canine in here eventually.
Maybe.
Look for like tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The scent of the other supposed, the 5 guys.
Right.
Like a
Could be.
bloodhound or something.
I wonder if they would have had an animal with them.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if they had a dog.
Cheryl, did you guys have a dog with you?
It's very unnaturally quiet.
I know, that's what I was just standing here thinking, like, because the last time we were here, it kind of was almost like, not completely constant, but it was like steady, like communication the last time we were here. And like I said, that feeling of being listened to and being watched while we were here, I don't feel that.
Mm-mm.
I don't know.
Residual energy aside, because, there's lots of theories about that, and a lot of people have different theories about residual paranormal activity, but if the residual energy is still here, that's not something that we can communicate with. That's just something you can experience if you're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe it had something to do with the last time that we were here. It was so close, in such a close time frame of when it actually happened.
Yes.
That residual energy was here.
So close, in fact, that it was the same day of the week of the exact month that it happened. Could also be for the fact that maybe whoever's in here is intimidated. Maybe we should go out and sit by the bonfire, relax a little bit, and leave a camera sit in here. And I'm thinking maybe leave the Ovilus run since it hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
Maybe step out and see what it says once we leave the house and go start a fire and just hang out.
Yeah, we can do that.
Leave a camera in here while we're outside, just relaxing, not even paying attention to anything paranormal, not thinking about the paranormal, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Tripwire over here by the door.
Oh, the tripwire went off?
One of them did, yeah.
Is that what you want? You want us to go outside and leave? Because we can do that. And then we'll see you guys because we're going to set up some cameras while we sleep in here.
Oh, yeah.
So, let's go ahead and the 3 of us are going to go outside. Let's leave this camera alone inside this cabin. See if anything happens while we're sitting outside not paying attention.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. With the cabin once again empty, and all three of us out at the fire ring, something strange happens. During our last session, the obelisk sat on the table for nearly an hour and didn't speak a single word. But after 5 minutes, in this empty cabin, it started to speak.
Numbers. Certain.
Over the next 12 minutes, it spoke less than 10 words, none of which were relevant. But then, 16 minutes after we walked out the door, the obelisk said the first of 4 words that shocked us.
Kill. Pastor. Wife. Murder.
To have one of these 4 words come through would be peculiar, but to have all of these 4 words come through within 5 minutes is chilling. On April 30th, 1996, someone traveled to this cabin to
Kill.
The man convicted of the crime was Reverend Michael Flippo.
Pastor.
The victim was his
Wife.
Cheryl Flippo. And the crime committed was
Murder.
It's important to point out that over the course of this nearly 2-hour clip, when the cabin was completely empty, many other random words did come through the obelisk, none of which were relevant to the history at all.
Soldier. Shot. Aura. Tina. Nighttime. Project. Proton. Felt. Ride.
So this begs the question, are these 4 words evidence of some spirit or energy finally succeeding in using the obelisk to communicate? Or is this just a coincidence, and these 4 words were randomly generated by the obelisk within a 5-minute time frame? What do you think? Tell us in the comments below.
Scan. Give. Joe.
So the obelisk actually was talking a lot. Weirdly enough, because during that session that we did, the obelisk didn't say anything. Suddenly we leave the house, we leave the cabin, and suddenly it starts talking a lot. That's weird. I mean, have to analyze the footage more whenever we get back and see exactly how it said these words and when the device said the words, but interestingly enough, the obelisk actually was talking. A lot of it looks random, but very, very strange. So we're going to go ahead and pack this stuff up, and we're going to be falling asleep here soon, so we'll find out what happens when we fall asleep here in this haunted cabin, the 3 of us. Should be pretty interesting. Time for bed. Alright, it's time again to go to bed. Dave is laying down up there, and I'm getting ready to lay down, and Jason's going to lay down in the cot over here, and we're going to find out what happens when we're asleep here in Cabin 13. We are going to be sleeping in West Virginia's most famous haunted cabin. Let's hope something creepy happens. I'm going to lay down here. Dave already has his camera rolling upstairs. All that's left to do now is lay down. So let's do it.
As we sleep here inside cabin 13, everything is still. The equipment is silent, and nothing unexplainable is happening inside one of West Virginia's most infamous haunted locations. And it really makes you wonder, are these ghost stories of this cabin really tales of spiritual encounters? Or is it the energy of one horrendous and violent night trapped in this tiny structure, replaying itself when the time is right?
Cheryl, is that you?
And even though this second investigation was much quieter than the first, we did capture a couple of very strange things here tonight.
If you want to come over and read it, you're more than welcome. And if you come over and read this thing's probably going to make a noise, but that's okay.
Kill. Pastor. Wife. Murder.
But we never really felt like we were communicating with someone. As the sun rises over Babcock State Park, our night here has ended.
All right, it's the next morning. We finally made it through the night here at Cabin 13, a place with a lot of history. A lot of very dark things happened here. At least one very dark thing happened here that they believe left a mark on this cabin, and we made it.
We made it, you guys. It was a long night. It actually got really cold. And, yeah, I'm so tired I can't even think, but it unfortunately wasn't as active as last time, as far as we can tell by now.
Yeah.
But
we woke up this morning and we were like, oh my gosh, it's freezing in here. So, but you'll have that, I guess, in September out in the middle of the woods here. So, but we made it to morning. It's time to head up and put our stuff in the car because housekeeping's waiting on us to leave so that they can clean this place. Make sure if you guys watch all the way to the end here, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you comment.
Wild and wonderful, West Virginia.
that's right.
That's right, let's go on to the next adventure. Woo!